Hey guys, welcome to the Rick and Morty fan fiction vlog, web vlog, coming to you with the best with the latest Rick and Morty fan fiction. Before we get into this week's submissions, I want to give you an update on the hole in my ceiling. It's gotten a lot deeper, a lot wider. It's like a pretty good smell coming out of it. Smells kind of like how the lunch tables used to smell after the lunch lady cleaned them with the shitty old water that she used. So it smells pretty bad. My psychiatrist recommended maybe raising the levels again on the medication because I'm not coping with the stresses that the hole has presented very well. It's a shame because for a while we were lowering the dosages, and while I was getting more suicidal as the dosages went down, I was also feeling more and more like myself. So we're gonna get to the Rick and Morty fan fiction really soon. Just want to do a couple more updates as per my psychiatrist's recommendations. I have been writing a journal. So today the journal entry is, "Thank you, Jean Benet. How's everyone doing today?" Thank you, Jean Benet. How's everyone doing today? So I'm gonna keep everyone updated on that as well. Gonna get to the Rick and Morty fan fiction really quick. We got a really good one today. Psychiatrist also told me to get a plant and take care of it, so I did. That's working out very well. I'm not sure what it is, but ever since we started messing around with my SSRI dosages and the hole appeared, and then my hair went down. Got a plant, didn't work out. Journaling isn't really working out. At this point, pretty much the only reason I have left to live is all this Rick and Morty fan fiction. It's really important. Can't wait to do it with you guys. Before we get into the Rick and Morty fan fiction, I did just want to make a couple of community announcements. So we are still looking out for William Tiffany. Another thing my psychiatrist told me was instead of doing the stuff that I was trying to do to my ex-girlfriend before, she said I should stop doing the things that I was trying to do to my ex-girlfriend and try to make some sort of art instead with it, try to express all the anger and rage that I have creatively. So I started making these little pictures, these little flyers, kind of like pop art, like Andy Warhol pop art type of stuff. And I started putting them up everywhere. This is the first one that I made. Okay, happy, Lauren? I'm not doing all the stuff that I was doing before. I'm doing what my psychiatrist said and expressing my feelings creatively instead. Please come and visit me. Come on, boys. Come up. Come up to my apartment 5C. I'll leave the door open, please. I need a friend, please. Need someone to share all this Rick and Morty fan fiction with. They didn't want to come up. So I'm going to get to the Rick and Morty fan fiction real soon. I did just get a sponsor. The channel just did get a sponsor. I'm really happy about that. Really excited to be working with this sponsor. They're going to enable us to keep coming up with all these really cool more Rick and Morty fan fiction videos, web vlogs. We're just gonna have a quick commercial, paid advertisement, and then we're gonna get right into all the coolest, zaniest Rick and Morty fan fiction coming up right after these messages.
My name is Larissa. I go to school. I am in grade 7.
My name is Nadia, and I'm an administrative assistant in a large consulting firm.
My name is Tim. I am 11 years old. I go to school and I'm in grade 6. My name is Cheryl, and I'm a high school teacher, and I teach grades 9 to 12.
My name is Hillary. I'm 13. I go to school, and I'm in grade 8.
My name is Steve.
And I'm a deficient.
My name is Richard. I go to school.
I'm in grade 11.
What do these people have in common? They all have learning disabilities. About 5 to 8% of the population has learning disabilities. Learning disabilities is a lifelong difficulty, and learning disabilities affect people with average or above average intelligence. They're not caused by cultural or language differences, and they're not due to socioeconomic status. Learning disabilities are also not caused by a lack of motivation, and they may exist with other conditions such as attention disorders.
It can frustrate you a lot. Like, you can get so frustrated over things, especially if you don't know that you have a learning disability.
Now we are going to examine the definition of learning disabilities, sometimes referred to as LD. Learning disabilities refer to a variety of disorders that affect a person's ability to obtain, remember, recall, understand, and organize the use of information taken in through the senses. There are different types of learning disabilities. Some people may have only one type, while other people may have several different types of learning disabilities. It is important to remember everyone has different areas of strength as well. Let's look at some of the types of learning disabilities. The first one we will start with is a reading disability, also known as dyslexia. This type of learning disability involves difficulty reading letters or words, reversing letters or numbers, as well as difficulty understanding what was read. Here is a sample page of what someone with dyslexia might see. The next type of learning disability we will look at is expressive language. We will refer to it as a language-based learning disability. It is important to know for this type of learning disability, it causes difficulties no matter what language the child or adult speaks. Problems arise when a person is trying to use their language, either verbally or in written form.
For social studies,
Here, a student in a classroom is having difficulty understanding what the teacher is assigning. And then struggling with the work. Receptive language involves problems in knowing the meaning of words. Again, this is not due to learning a new or second language. It would occur in any language a person uses. For instance, when a parent may tell their child to put their shoes under their bed, the child may not understand what the concept of under is.
This is how. I got all the lawyers.
Here, a group of kids are telling jokes. Everyone laughs, except for one boy who has difficulty following the conversation. Another type of learning disability is called auditory processing. It is important to note here that there is nothing wrong with a person's physical sense of hearing, and that this type of disability has to do with what the person is hearing and how their brain is processing that information. So here, a person may have difficulty telling differences between sounds of letters or words, remembering the order of what was heard, as well as an inability to filter out background noises. In this classroom, this girl is distracted when her neighbors are whispering, and she is unable to concentrate on what the teacher is saying. The next type of learning disability involves problems with memory. This is where a person experiences difficulty in remembering written or auditory information.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Could you tell me where the washroom is?
Yes, if you go back out the door and go down past the elevators and turn left down the hall, the men's bathroom's at the end of the hall.
Thank you.
When this man asks for directions to the washroom, he quickly forgets what he's told. He becomes confused and loses his way. Now we're going to talk about learning disabilities that cause problems with how things are seen, understood, and performed. These difficulties are not caused by problems with vision. Instead, they have to do with how the brain understands what is being seen. Visual perceptual learning disabilities can cause difficulties in many different ways, such as difficulty understanding body language, gestures, facial expression, and tone of voice. A person may have trouble seeing something and then doing it, for example, copying from the blackboard. As well, a person may experience difficulties in seeing differences in visual patterns. As well as understanding concepts such as time, space, quantity for math.
Kyle, it's time to pick up your Lego. I asked you to do it. I need you to do it now.
Here, a mother is getting annoyed when her son doesn't do what he's asked. The child does not pick up on her cues. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. At different ages of development, we are supposed to be able to learn how to do various skills. When a child is in school, or even an adult is struggling with learning or working, it may be due to a learning disability.
If you find that your child has a lot of motivation and drive to do well in school or is interested in school, but academically they're not getting the marks, that is definitely a warning sign. Because with somebody like me, I tested above average intellectually, but my marks, I was always the lowest in the class.
One of the warning signs that we noticed in our daughter was that she was in grade 2 and didn't really know how to read. She was reading probably more at a senior kindergarten level. That was something that was critical for us, that we noticed in her, that she didn't know how to read. It was the clue that led us to her diagnosis with ADHD.
Your child's teacher or family doctor is a good place to start. Talk about your concerns. There are tests that can show if a child or adult has some type of learning disability. These tests are done by psychologists. There is help available through the school or various community agencies.
When you get the proper help, it feels like your learning disability isn't a problem anymore.
It's possible for somebody who has a learning disability to get help to be better at everything. I had very high learning disabilities, and now I'm just, I'm a normal kid in school. I'm not struggling.
It is very important to get help at an early age, because if they can overcome the disability, they can go on to be successful, and that's important.
Places like the Learning Disabilities Association have been tremendously helpful in helping us gather that information so that we can help our child. The earlier the better.
Just to recap, learning disabilities affect how a person processes information taken in through the senses. Learning disability specifically refers to a group of disorders that affect a person's ability to obtain, remember, recall, understand, organize, and use information. I hope you found the information presented here helpful. The Learning Disabilities Association of Toronto District is the primary organization in Toronto that helps families and adults with learning disabilities. We are your source for help and information. Children with learning disabilities can grow up and become successful adults. They just need the right help along the way.
I was ready to give up on life at a certain point. And right now I want to go to become a mathematician and nuclear physicist. So it's quite possible for someone who has a learning disability to become as successful as they want to be.